the side of Talon, especially, which is understandable because you are up against Machi, who went undefeated for 16 times in the PCS. And right now, what are your options? With Talon now blue side, they won their blue side win earlier at game number 2. Perhaps this could be the key.
On we go. It is going to be Talon on blue side. They opted for that after the loss taken in game 3, and bans coming through. Finally, we get ourselves the Azir ban here against Mission. It looks like Talon have had enough of it and don't wish to see it now in game 4.
Now the big question is, does Machi ban out the Kalista, or will unleash a bunch of other junglers that were supposedly banned in this first rotation? As well as, you know, Ornn and Set will be hot picks for both of these sides, especially for Hanabi, who really likes to play this Ornn and has been showing huge promise when it comes to that pick.
All right, final ban here for Machi. Are we going to see the Kalista be the ban? No, it's going to be the Taric. So we're going to go after the other half of that combo for Unified and Kaiwing, as that now eliminates some of the safety that they had with the pick. Is Talon still going to be confident enough to go for this, or are they going to opt in possibly for the Misfortune that's still available?
Yeah, that's true. They could go for that and deny that away from Bruce. And it's, again, this is starting to look like the first few weeks of the PCS where Misfortune is the ultimate take. But Varus is open, though. That's a hover, so I'm not going to get too excited just yet.
Only a hover, you know. Maybe they're thinking some Volibear madness. Opting, though, for the brother. It's going to be the Ornn getting locked in here for PK. And now they get the option of whether or not they wish to go ahead and take this Kalista in the second round, second rotation, or if they want to go ahead and lock it in before that.
Yeah, that seems to be the case now, as that will be for Bruce. For, I believe, has played it before, I believe, in the first round robin, or second round robin. But in the meantime, for Talon, now that they've shifted up a little bit for Machi, since they banned out the Taric, possibly this could be another Thresh Koala that we could possibly see into this series.
Well, for Talon, this would be, I think, it's a lot of confidence into Candy. I'll give them that. I know that they trust Candy when it comes to his LeBlanc play. The fact that's going to be blind picked immediately, I'm a little bit skeptical. I feel like now Mission has the opportunity to take whatever he wishes into this matchup. And that's actually a counter pick that's going to be up and available for Machi if they want to take it right away. They do at least get the Rek'Sai here for River on Talon the first time in the series.
I know Mission has been that one of those playmaking players on the Azir, LeBlanc, and again, generally the mages. And with that said, makes you wonder if they do want to lock in a Pantheon or perhaps maybe even a Galio to lessen that kill lane. But you know what? Corki works as well.
Yeah, Corki, he can at least try and stay back. Like the early levels or so, I think he has decent damage output. May get chunked out the later the game goes, so we'll have to see how Mission plays that. It is Mission, though, on his Corki. It's one of his go-to champions. He's an absolute monster on it. Getting into our second round of bans, though, it is going to be the Gangplank getting banned away from Hanabi, so looking to target toward the top side.
Could be another Mordekaiser ban coming from the side of Machi. Meanwhile, for Talon, do you want to take out that Thresh? Or do you want to take out that Tahm Kench? That is the biggest question, because Thresh enables, again, Koala is currently 100% win rate on that champion, but for Talon, most likely they want to try to constrict the jungle pool. For Gemini, he did play a lot of Rek'Sai, did play a lot of Jarvan. Perhaps that is the plan for Talon, put him back on this champion.
All right, so no Olaf here for the side of Gemini. We could also see the Jarvan getting banned out, and that would really lock down the pool, and we maybe have to see something new out of him when it comes to his playstyle. It is the Mordekaiser, though, like we mentioned, being banned away from Hanabi, so again, targeting toward him top lane. We'll see whether or not he likes to maybe play possibly a Set, maybe even an Aatrox into this matchup, as Talon are going to go ahead a little down the clock here. Actually, the Set gets banned out from them. Maybe skeptical if Gemini is going to play. I think even there's even some questions there from Machi. They're like, really? So you just banned Set?
Maybe, yeah, maybe assuming Gemini would go on the Set jungle. But yeah, for Talon, Renekton is still open. Hanabi did a phenomenal job as the Renekton in game number 2, but just as what happened in 3, though, for Gemini did actually match the pressure when it comes to the jungle earlier if you do pick up this this Jarvan.
So the Jarvan is going to get locked in for the side of Machi. They've already picked up a majority of their carries, so they're looking now toward what their support will possibly be. For Talon, what do you want to pick up here for Hanabi? Do we want to see... Well, you've still got some options. You got the Aatrox. You got the Vladimir getting picked up here for him, likely now going up and toward the top lane. A bit of a change-up coming out from Talon once again in the draft.
I love it. First, the set support. You know, yesterday we got a couple of interesting jungle pickups like the Nidalee and the Graves. I mean, for Talon, the set jungle worked well earlier on, just unfortunately not able to push for that lead. Now, this time around, this is going to be the second time, actually, we'll be seeing the Vlad. So I'm interested how this is going to pan out. For Machi, do you pick up the Thresh on your side or possibly make it a safer choice with either the Tom Kench?
I think you go Kench here. Because I think Kench actually really makes this composition not a bunch of fun here for Talon. I like Talon, like, they're going in on it, but you're kind of hoping for a pseudo tank that's going to form out of this Vlad, where he does a lot of damage, he's a bit hard to kill, and he's trying to draw a lot of attention. But if you're trying to dive all on to Bruce here, if he's got Koala right next to him on this Kench, it's going to be very difficult to kill this Kalista.
Exactly, and we talked about what would be the buffer for at least that early to mid to deal huge amount of damage to fight throughout these early game objectives. You do have mission. Once you get that Triforce, at least it's just a really, really nice fight. And again, we didn't mention the transition. And with PK now on not an Aatrox duty, but an Ornn duty this time around, that means more fighting, CC power, and peel for the carries of Machi.
So now Machi looking toward game 4, have the hammer, looking at match point, and look to take home the victory here and advance on into a grand final. Talon may be able to pull it off once again and force a game 5 against Machi. A bit of a change up in the draft. We'll have to see whether or not it pays off here, especially the fact that we're now seeing a Vladimir pick, a brand new pick for Talon once again.
Yeah, and for Talon, I do admire how creative they are when it comes to the drafts. Not only creative, but confident and as well willing to give this a shot when it comes to the playoffs as well. And against Machi at that, who is currently just been playing standard so far. And we've seen Talon's first early defeat when it comes to the first round robin. It was the experimental drafts that managed to give them the first 2 losses in the PCS.
On to the Rift we go. Game 4 between Machi Esports and Talon. Victor or Machi would be able to get themselves into the grand final. Talon want to try and extend the series once again and bring us into the wee late hours of the night. We'll see how this one pans out as we're loaded on to the Rift once again.
30 seconds until minions.
All right, Talon. On the rec side this time, that's River. So the big question is whether or not Gemini can match that aggression. Considering, again, this is River on the rec side. He has played the rec side the most in the PCS and has given the team a couple of victories here and there. Yep, Gemini gonna get that reset, switch it up on his trinket, and go back to his own jungle.
Some mind games coming out there from River as well, as mission's not 100% certain whether or not the Rek'Sai actually went up into the jungle or not, as you saw River pathing right when Gemini went back to base. Gemini is going to go ahead back all the way to his red buff, doesn't want to try and match here with River as far as the vertical jungle, just going to go for a mirror, as River will be able to clear out his red below as well. So it's going to be a leashless. So they don't really know actually where River is starting on the map.
And with that said, yeah, you mentioned a lot of mind games considering that Gemini has spotted out River first. Last seen him in that brush at top side. So yeah, for Machi, not a lot of vision actually, except for that tri-brush, I suppose, on that side. Nice double up. I'm gonna chunk Koala a little bit here and there. But Koala, look at this, managing to remove that initial trinket away from Talon for bot side.
Yeah, went with the sweeper start actually to deny vision, and that may allow Gemini to find a path here toward the bot lane to try and get a flank opportunity through the tri-brush. We'll see though, as level 2 is hit already from Machi, as they're already hard shoving this lane into the tower. So please apply some pressure. River still waiting on his Grom to be finished off here, and then maybe we get to see where this Rek'Sai looks to strike. Unfortunately, Hanabi has already pushed the lane pretty heavily up into PK, so I don't think they can really go for a dive here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of kill potential when it comes to the solo lanes, like individually speaking. But perhaps when I look at bot lane, that's where it could go in favor of with Talon. PK has to get chunked in a little bit and had to fight throughout the sustain that Hanabi is going to be more strong, really stronger rather. But yeah, if I look at mid lane, it's kind of hard to gank Mission as well, unless you manage to bait out the Valkyrie first. Same goes for Gemini, managed to bait out the Distortion first.
Still just going to be quiet here. Hanabi also onto that Vlad. He went with the mana flow, so he's going to get a phase. What is it, the mana rush now? I keep changing that rune name. Either way, he's going to get a lot of movement speed once he gets this combo off.
Phase rush?
Phase rush.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting what one that was. I kept thinking it was phase dive, but that's the Echo.
Phase dive. That's Echo, yeah.
That's the issue with League of Legends. Everything starts to sound somewhat the same, just different combinations of words. But
there is one.
For the Vladimir, you're always going to have that ability to reset tower aggro, as let's see, Kaiwing is going to spot out Gemini heading down the river, so he just gets himself back to safety.
Yep, with the dredge line on towards the wall, it's going to be a little bit safe. Again, I was expecting it would be a Thresh. I suppose this is more of that safety when it comes to the late game, and just in case River decides to be a little bit more aggressive at bot. But now for Gemini, because with the Tahm Kench, it's going to be a little bit difficult to fall back into a second engage when it comes to the ganks at bot side.
You see, Candy positioning rather aggressively, still getting a little bit of chunk here and there. It's Mission having to use all his mana. Does have a biscuit, but I think he'll just go back to base. So that's a nice job there by Candy. He'll be able to shove that lane in and maybe deny a minion or two before he's able to teleport back. And that's kind of what we want to see from Candy, at least in this matchup early, is Candy, unlike the last previous games, he can't be reactionary. He has to be proactive, and he has to be trying to find openings where he can exploit this Corki and really try and get himself an advantage.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit difficult, especially Mission, already used to this matchup, I suppose, against Candy here on the LeBlanc. Also, you did mention, Mission does have teleport. Candy playing more on that kill rather than that global presence and try to match the aggression or maybe even try to get that numbers advantage. But Mission, yeah, he's going to get his package in a few, but at the same time, packages in the PCS in general hasn't been exactly the most impactful because it is a little bit telegraphed. You can actually wait for the cooldown first before that expires, and Mission will be forced to use it on a minion wave or maybe as like the last time on the Rift Herald.
Some pings here. We actually see that Candy actually finished off his sword boots immediately, so he's going to get a little bit of extra penetration and get some extra damage out of those base as Mission gets caught out there, has to force a flash out as River was looking for the gank opportunity, so not a bad job, but Machi positioned themselves onto the Dragon as they got priority in that bot lane, and unfortunately Unified Kaiwing can't really respond.
Again, it's the perfect... Oh wait, they might say yes to this.
There we go, gets the hook onto the Callista. That's going to be the Dragon secured. Mission comes on over, gets a little bit of damage. Teleport, though, is coming on through. First Blood is going to go on over Candy. It's going to be a teleport, though, answered immediately on the side of Talon. Hanabi looking for his ultimate, doesn't pull the trigger. And with that, Machi, they lose one member, but they do secure the Dragon.
The scary part, though, that kill went over to Candy. We did mention that on this LeBlanc, it's going to be quite hard to shut down once this LeBlanc snowballs, and I feel like that would be the plan for Talon. Again, these teams are fine giving off the first Dragon or two, but if they manage to give off kills on the main carries, which is they're going to heavily rely on Candy for this early game to snowball out of control, then perhaps, Talon is fine with that first Dragon take for Machi.
So not bad here as Candy finds himself his first blood, and I was hoping he'd be able to get something, as he did actually rush the sword fruits immediately. So pays off there with a little extra bit of move speed, able to get into the fight. Also able to get the kill on Mission. Wasn't able to really get much else though on the map. It's just the extra gold from the kill. It's a 1,000 gold lead overall here for Talon, as they're starting to find small little advantages here and there, mainly in top lane off Hanabi with a 2-wave lead over the Ornn.
And the next challenge would definitely be on Rift Herald, where Machi and Talon do like to fight, like to duke it out. And we didn't mention mission is that gap. Ooh, Valkyrie not gonna get hit by the distortion and as well as the chains. So again, that's your technique. Try to bait out that Valkyrie and then perhaps try to go again with the addition of River ganking at mid.
Yeah, River's still doing his wolves at the moment though. Unfortunately for them, the mission's going to be underneath the tower, so he's going to be relatively safe. Gemini's still not level 6 here, though, as he's actually lost a decent chunk of his jungle to River. Look at this, though. Gemini able to find the knock-up onto the right LeBlanc. LeBlanc able to get to safety. Koala was also coming nearby for a possible roam, but not able to find anything. That does mean they're actually going to lose out on a decent chunk of CS that's getting crashed into the tower.
Exactly, and that was the plan in mind. Candy quite low already for mission. Always has his rockets available. Unfortunately, there's the wave. We'll have to see what Machi decides to do here, as Kaiwing will
he got him during the Valkyrie. Mission doesn't have flash here. He's going to get taken down, and Unified gets the kill.
That is such an interesting turn of events, considering that Mission was so comfy because there's no, no candy, no teleport, that's fine. But unfortunately, you had the bot lane rotating at top side, perfect for that Rift Herald take. And with that, let's see what Machi decides to do, considering they're already trying to push this bot lane as an exchange.
Yeah, they're not really able to get a whole lot other than a little chip of damage onto that bot lane. They get 2 plates. Candy, though, is down toward bot. They may be looking for a dive. We'll take another look here as Mission just doesn't respect the fact Nautilus can Q him.
Yeah, Mission held on to that Valkyrie for quite a while. You can see Kaiwing already moving forward, and no one was nearby Bruce.
Oh, that's not too good there. The damage does follow through. Bruce able to get himself to safety via Koala. And Candy not able to finish off the kill as the Ignite was ticking. Candy actually did have flash, so he could have maybe jumped across over the Kench to try and finish off Bruce, but maybe didn't know whether or not he had heal up still. Not a bad job here. We talked about wanting to see this LeBlanc become a menace early in the game. Now with the Rift Herald pop, looking to get some gold onto Candy as well.
More extra gold, just as you mentioned for Candy.
Fortunately, he didn't actually get an auto attack onto the tower, so he didn't get any of that gold. Nicely done there for Machi to deny that.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned, it is one of those things that Machi has to respect, so that is a good deny away from Candy. Yeah, and considering there is going to be just a few seconds before this dragon is about to spawn, so for Machi, are you going to be willing to give up that second dragon? Well, actually, at least they managed to get that first. But at the same time, Unified got an early kill. Candy had an early kill as well. So that's gonna sorta, in a small leap at least bolster Unified and Candy at least.
Yeah, we see PK. He doesn't have teleport available right now. He's actually running the spell book, so he's got himself the Ignite. There is actually some deep wards on the side of Machi if they wanted to try and find a flank in toward the bot side of the map for this dragon that's going to be spawning now in just a couple of seconds, as Machi have been able to answer Unified and Kaiwing in the mid lane. River's just pathing over, and here it comes. It's going to be likely our next objective fight to see whether or not Talon want to try and secure this and take this one away from Machi.
Everyone, of course, level 6 already. Level 6, 7, 8. Now, because earlier the fight, you had bottom lane not having their ults just yet, so we'll have to see if everything combines.
Gemini jumps on in. Unified does have his flash available, and now re-engage is going to come out from the squad. PK, though, able to find the knockup, flashing forward to get the Ignite, and he'll be able to take down the Misfortune. It's the lethal, deadly Ornn, but in comes Candy into the Hanabi ultimate, and there you go. Bruce is just going to get obliterated. PK able to soak up a decent amount of damage, but Candy is still just firing on all cylinders. River finds himself the kill. Maybe a little too far forward, going to pop his ultimate trying to trade back, but unfortunately it's not enough, and both mid laners are able to pick up kills in the end as Mission finds himself a double kill.
So it's going to be, I believe, a 2-for-3 exchange in favor of Machi. We did mention that this Corki will be that bridge, at least, when it comes to the game, when it comes to the early game, and when they needed damage. Because you can't exactly rely on Kalista this early on, except for those single target stacks of Rams. And as you can see here, beautiful knock-up, beautiful ignite coming from PK. But Bruce was actually pretty much isolated, so the knock-up coming from River just obliterates Bruce, and as well as the hook coming from Highwing. But Mission was completely untouched all this time. So unfortunately, they're not able to win this team fight in this engage by Machi. But at the same time, I believe Candy got a couple of kills, assists here and there.
Yeah, he got himself 2 assists, but you got to understand that Mission can be an absolute monster on this Corki. And the side of Machi want to try and get more kills onto him as he's going to jump on over. Candy gets his clone out. Bruce is hunted, not able to find it. Teleport is going to come down here from Hanabi. Maybe trying to turn this one around as River and Kaiwing are looking for a collapse. The teleport comes back out though from Machi, turning it back into a 5v4. Bruce with a decent amount of damage onto Hanabi, able to chunk him low. And now the side of Talon are going to start panicking because unfortunately he can go into the pool for a little bit longer, but Koala's tanking the tower, and Mission finds himself his 3rd kill of the game. River tries to engage back underneath the tower. Hook does not land. Candy jumps on in, is having the Ignite ticking down onto PK, and he will survive.
Chugging in some pots will be enough for PK to survive, and unfortunately, Candy is not able to at least get a return kill, an assassination against PK. Let's take a look at this again. Honestly, I was a little bit worried for Machi when they dove in too deep, considering that the rest of the members are already walking down from Talon at the bot side of the map. Unfortunately, Q doesn't land coming from Bruce. But this teleport, Hanabi is just basically squished against 2 portions of Machi, and at this time, Bruce just calls it and focuses on Hanabi.
Yeah, and then it's just the ensuing dive here where Hanabi has really nowhere to run. He can go into a pool, but because of Koala actually tanking the tower early, it means that there's no safety left there for Talon. So it's going to be equaled out 4-4 apiece when it comes to kills, and gold pretty much evened out as well.
Yeah, in that fight, you know, Unified had to take the long way back. But now Dragon has spawned. This could be another fight that Machi is willing to take, considering that they got a couple of kills, and Mission still not having his Triforce completed, had the Manamune instead.
Ooh. Candy trying to get aggressive here. He's going to get slowed down. Bruce was maybe thinking about getting aggressive. There is package available for Mission if he wants to try and get toward this mid lane. Maybe trying to find a flank, but opts not to, as Larissa and Machi are going to collapse down toward the 2nd dragon of the game, as it looks like Talon are going to at least try and trade back the Rift Herald.
There are a couple of pings here and there. Talon already starting that one up for Machi, based on their movements in the map. It seems to me they'll be walking their way, actually, but I don't think they'll be there in time, as Koala will be the first one in that area, with Bruce already getting his red buff. We'll see if they want to start a fight, though.
Gemini maybe looking for the steal, a bit too late though, but they don't actually pick up the eye. Fight is going to ensue. River gets the knockup back over onto Bruce, but he's going to get taken down by the chain, even though he went into the belly of Koala, and Candy finds himself a double kill. Gemini able to trade back 1 kill back over in favor of Machi. PK, though, has to sacrifice himself, and Talon find themselves another good fight in their favor, taking down 3 members of Machi. Maybe looking for the 4th here, as unfortunately Gemini gets himself over the wall with the Blasting Cone, but Kaiwing is able to cut him off, and the rest of Talon is just going to squeeze down here onto this poor Jarvan. Not a whole lot left he can do.
That's a lot of time consumed, and as well as Gemini's death was actually a little bit, took longer than expected, so it'll be back in the map a little bit later. Mission was not in there in that entire fight. When Mission arrived, he was actually pushing mid first before going towards the pit, which is actually pretty interesting, as he just wanted to set up the wave to crash first before joining the fight. Unfortunately, Bruce is not able to survive since he was in a bit of an awkward position inside the pit.
Now, unfortunately, for the side of Machi, it looked like this game was starting to get a little bit into their favor, but we talked a little bit about Candy on this LeBlanc. Now sits 4-0-3, starting to pick up the components, and actually I do believe finishes off Balloon's Echo on the next back, and he's going to be able to start blowing up Mission, and that was kind of the one thing you did not really want to happen is Mission has to now worry about this LeBlanc threat consistently on flanks.
And again, at this point, you're not on the Azir. Earlier, at least you're able to mitigate that a little bit when it comes to your build path. But for Machi, they are heavily relying on Corki for this bridge before Bruce comes online, especially when this Kalista picks up the Runans. But that's not the time right now. Mission, again, they needed Mission to be in that fight.
Yeah, with no Corki, it's rather difficult. Unfortunately, the package was used just to go over the wall into the Dragon Pit. Now, Infernal Drake is spawning in about 2.5 minutes, so for Machi to be able to pick up their 3rd Dragon of the game. Fortunately for PK here, he's about to get dove if he's not careful. Wants to try and get himself over to safety. Has the Unstoppable available, as Candy's not even going to try and use the chain. Does mean, though, Rift Herald should be able to get this tower here quite shortly, as Talon are going to help Shelly out, saying, all right, get yourself onto that tower, take it down.
Yep, and as minions are cleared, yep, that is the time for this little Shelly to charge in. PK, gonna be a little bit hinky, prioritizing more of instead of the Sunfire. A lot of focus more on defending against Candy because 403, that's not a funny number for Machi.
No, that's unfortunately you don't have a lot of good laughs there. Not a lot of good laughs there for Hanabi either, as Mission actually getting some decent chunks onto the Vladimir. This Corki is also relatively big with 3 kills. The other thing you kind of have to factor in for Machi is over the course of the game, you're going to have the ornaments come online for the squad. So that's always a little bit of a equalizer, but you got to be careful, especially with the fact that Unified in a lot of these fights, we have yet to really see a big bullet time come out from this Misfortune. And of course, Misfortune, if she's able to get a good bullet time during a late game team fight, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, for sure. As in terms of mobility, at least you have some that can reposition against a big bullet time. For Mission, for Gemini, you got Flag and Drag, PK on the dash. I guess Bruce will heavily rely on Koala for that Devour to eat a bunch of damage for Bruce. But you're right, that is still a massive Corki. Already Muramana and as well as this Triforce. That is a huge spike for Machi.
Yeah, that's going to be bullet time actually used just to clear out the wave, as Talon really don't want to give up this mid lane tower, especially with the fact that this Infernal Drake is going to be spawning in about 30 seconds. They may try and get a little bit of pressure into the mid lane to try and force Machi to have to do what they can to clear this out, but a nice chunk of damage on Unified is going to make that a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, I feel like Unified wanted to set up for a double up, but for Talon, they do have control over this dragon. Good thing for Machi, they have the first 2 dragons in the game, so pressure isn't entirely on the shoulder of Machi.
Corki, hello, Hanabi. Maybe the one getting caught out here, but Mission able to get a decent amount of damage. Ult does get ticked over toward Hanabi. Now the rest of the squad, though, starting to struggle into this choke point. Double knock up on both sides. No one goes down. Candy taking a decent amount of damage. They follow through. Unfortunately, they only get the clone. PK almost gets taken down there in the root. Goes unstoppable to prevent Kaiwing from getting the CC on top of him. And no one on either side goes down. Machi still have Bruce at about full health, though, but he does not have his Runans complete.
Does not have his Runans complete for Unified. Bullet time is about to go online.
Oh, does land. Gemini does go instantly, though. Golden, and like you mentioned, they're kind of waiting for this bullet time to be off cooldown on the side of Talon if they really want to go for this fight. Hanabi already used his ultimate. PK looks for another engage. Mission fighting along the side against Candy. 50-50. Who's going to take it? It's the Ren from the Kalista, able to get the Dragon. Now only one separates them from the Soul. Bullet time comes out. Candy, though, finds his mark and is able to take down Mission. Now Bruce cutting back, was exhausted, has dissipated, steps forward, but he gets caught out. Koala trying to flash in onto the back line. He isn't able to take down Candy, and in the end, it's going to be 3 members of Machi falling for the price of a Rek'Sai and the Dragon on the side of Talon.
Okay, so Bruce got a little bit excited there. Auto-attacked forward, and again, Kaiwing on this Nautilus has been very scary when it comes to his hooks. So I am a little bit concerned, considering Mission was not exactly in this prime position. And again, the Ren was able to secure that Dragon Unified Trap in the Cataclysm, but this bullet time was so good. And Candy, you know, the Hex Drinker didn't help Mission at all and was completely bursted down.
Yeah, you saw there Candy was still always nearby, and Koala, he really thought he could pick up the kill, but unfortunately, the Tongue Lash does not connect onto his target. The one takeaway here from Machi is they are only one Dragon away, though, from picking up Infernal Soul. But now they have to worry about the fact that Baron could always be taken as Bruce maybe has to be a bit careful. Unfortunately for him, he's going to get caught out, and we've seen this a couple times where if teams are going to push with absolutely no vision, it will cost them. That's going to be double teleport. Hello, it's the squad joining on in. River's going to get taken on down. Hemoplague, though, is able to find his target as Candy is able to find the shutdown, though. Back over onto the side of Gemini. Unified, though, wants to rejoin onto the fight. Mission nowhere near this fight, cannot join in. It's going to be the 2-for-1 in favor of Machi.
Okay, Machi wins that one. They've got teleports, they got the Abyssal Voyage, so they managed to at least, you know, let Talon's plan backfire by being a little bit too excited to kill Bruce. So this was really, really good. A good play from Machi. Right now, Bruce, high wing.
Oh, that's a nice eat up coming out there from Mission. Bullet time came down, but not able to kill anyone just yet. Still waiting for that Infinity Edge to be completed for Unified before he really gets that power spike. We'll take another look here as Bruce is the one caught out very far forward, but he's got the help of his team.
Yeah, I got the help of his team as well as the auto attacks and as well as his passive. So it's so hard to actually try and catch him. You do have to consume a flash to get that knock up at least. But at that time, you know, lots of members coming from Machi just came forward and managed to at least get an extra kill out of that exchange.
So now 2 minutes until we get to our next Infernal Drake. Machi have been able to at least establish a line of vision into their jungle. So now this time, Bruce hopefully doesn't get caught out trying to split push on the top side of the map. But the fact that we're going to have Infernal now spawning in about 2 minutes, he's finished off his Hurricane, so he should be joining back with the rest of the team. Candy, though, wants to apply pressure on the spot lane tower.
Gonna get a lot of those Hex Drinkers on the side of Machi because Candy, having that Void Staff, as we have seen earlier, just completely obliterated Mission after that Hex Drink passive has already been procced. But now, you know, everything's pretty much online. Machi forced to be a little bit defensive at the moment. Executioners has been picked up by Mission to counter Hanabi's sustain for sure, especially when the game progresses. Void Staff also as well on Hanabi's inventory, so Machi will have a lot of respect in the next fight for sure.
Decent amount of penetration here for the Magic dealers on the side of Talon, both the Void Staff completed for Candy and Hanabi. Meanwhile, mid lane, though, is going to be taken. They're able to get that first tier tower and knock it down, preventing Machi from always calling that the safe haven of the mid lane. And Infernal now spawning in about 55 seconds. Mission is on the top side of the map. He should be backing now so he can rejoin the team as Machi look to try and set up around the Drake.
I'm actually very afraid for Machi, considering, again, you got Hanabi on this Vladimir. He'll be quite unstoppable when it comes to the fights, and you'll eventually be out-sustained with the healings later on, and as well as the Hemoplague that helps assist when it comes to the damage. So you can combo that Hemoplague with either the bullet time or coming from the burst against Candy with that explosion later on. But for Machi, this is the mid lane tango that we usually see when these two teams come across each other with 13 seconds on the clock for the dragon to spawn.
Mission does have package available for the Corki. Gemini might get caught out here, and he should have just flag dragged immediately. Bullet time comes through, though, able to get a decent amount of damage, but does not get the kills onto the Kalista. Hanabi onto the back line, only getting his ultimate down onto Mission, but guess what? It is enough to take him out, though they do lose Candy. Unfortunately, River not able to land the target there with his Seeker. Unified, though, on the hunt for Bruce, able to take him down, and Hanabi finds himself a double kill. And for Machi, it's starting to look a little bit dire as they are unable to secure the next dragon, guaranteeing them Infernal Soul. Instead, Talon, they fight back, catching out Gemini.
Talon delays the Elder Drake even more, and as well as getting a lot of kills on towards their carries. Kenji has fallen, but it don't matter considering he's already 627 on his KDA, and as well as Hanabi surviving the onslaught. And PK! Oh dear, oh my.
Kills were 16 by 9 there, but now it's going to be 17 as Talon find themselves the perfect setup in this fight. And I have to question what the plan was here from Gemini. If this was set up, sure, but you're going into a choke point against a Misfortune.
And Talon was just ready to pull the trigger when somebody was caught off guard. And as you can see, Mission just gets obliterated from Hanabi's burst damage. And all this time, Candy was around there as well. And that said, Bruce is already pretty much very low. And we did mention, eventually, you'll get out-sustained and unable to eliminate Hanabi when it comes to the team fights.
So not the game plan Machi maybe had in mind here, is a lot of this gold lead was set onto Mission on his Corki, but if he gets zoned out immediately during these fights, if he gets just chunked down and blown up by Hanabi on this Vlad, not a whole lot they're going to be able to do in the ensuing fight, as Bruce still has to try and carry these fights. And Koala, again, getting caught out. Depth charge is going to be there onto Bruce. Bullet Time is able to just take down the Kench immediately. Hanabi on the teleport, not going to follow on through, but that's, again, another member of Machi just carelessly getting caught out.
And that's 30 seconds on the clock, and I think it has contributed to not a lot of vision on the entrances of the jungle, so Talon can form a death patrol and see whichever is going to be caught off guard, considering Kaiwing has been so, you know, precise with the skill shots on this dredge line.
And Talon, they are looking to set themselves up for another Game 5. As we were currently in Game 4, Machi had the opportunity to close out this series, but now it is starting to look like that is no longer an option, pending a possible massive misplay coming out from Talon Esports.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately, yeah, that's just how the play is going to be here. As for Machi, it's there was the opportunity, especially early on, especially the fact that you get Mission to get a couple of kills early, and it looks all good. It looks like it's going to go heavily in your favor, but then the fact that this Wombo combo and consistent mispositioning on the side of Machi. You saw Koala getting caught out. You saw Gemini trying to go into a fight that the shot calling is starting to deteriorate, it seems, here as Machi, the later this series goes.
I want to say that's two Rabadons on the side of Talon, and I don't think those Hex Fingers are going to work. I don't think that Maw is going to work for Machi's side with all the amplified damage on the side of Talon. I am genuinely scared for the next team fight for Machi, and right now Talon is good to go.
Yeah, you're still waiting on some Ornn upgrades possibly on the side of Machi, but like you mentioned, Rabadons means a ton of damage, especially you just see that as Gemini gets chunked out by about 500 health. Sure, he's tanky, but still, those are some bad signs to come here, as you're also going to have most of your summoners online on the side of Talon here quite shortly for this upcoming fight. Fortunately for Machi, it becomes a bit of a situation of what do you wish to try and give up here? Are you going to try and go for Infernal Soul, or are you going to try and defend toward this Baron? Talon have both options available for them, and they can just play around with Machi how they wish.
Yeah, they can bait out either Baron or perhaps maybe that Dragon, just as you mentioned, and just wait for Machi to perhaps come and see if they can try and contest. And again, you can see a lot of respect towards those two magic damage dealers on the side of Talon, but at the same time, even if you try as much as you can build, you know, Solari, maybe there's double Maw already on the side of Machi, you still have Unified to worry about with that pure raw 80 damage on this Misfortune.
There we go, 40 seconds on Infernal. We see Talon are going to go ahead, set up around the pit, take out Vision. There is still the Callista Ghost scouting ahead for Machi, as Candy's just going to continue to deny Vision and make this a very, very dark pit. Mission does have his package available. We haven't really been able to see it in full effect, and Hook does land here. Kaiwing, decent chunk of damage, but Mission gets doubled up, and again, a good flank comes out from Hanabi into the bullet time, and Bruce gets taken down. Candy wants to flash forward. River, though, is able to do enough to secure the kill, and that might be enough here for Talon to at least pressure in onto the base and start taking inhibitors.
What a wild fight, especially, again, you mentioned it's the Hanabi special with the flank. And for Koala, he's trying his best to at least stop the wave, proxy the wave, to slow down the push of Machi. But the Dragon has spawned Infernal Drake. Another Infernal Drake has been denied away from Machi. So with this said, Koala, he's too tanky to be able to get it and execute. We'll have to see.
There you go. He'll get executed here, so they don't give any more gold over to Candy. And like you mentioned, a bit of a small hero play. That is enough to actually prevent Talon from actually taking an inhibitor tower. And with that, Gemini has respawned, so there is the possibility that, hey, maybe he's able to steal away this Baron, but it is a bit grim because once again, it is a spooky jungle in front of him. Can barely see what's going on. 7,000 health back onto the Baron. Mission, though, wants to join in, able to get a decent amount of damage. If they go into a choke point here, that might be an option here for Machi. Over the wall they may go. Gemini not able to find the target, can't steal it. Talon will be able to secure the Baron buff.
All right, that is at least -1 on the Baron buff but look at this, Hanabi flashing in, activating that Hemo Plague and the bullet time. Again, 0 threats for Unified at the back line because they're too busy worrying about Candy and Hanabi, who's just right in their faces. And with that, Unified is just free to reign with the auto attacks when the team fight arrives.
Yeah, and again, you got to commend Koala. He got MVP earlier in this series, and he comes up with a big play to save the game. That is the only way Machi actually stays in this without losing more than they did. So Talon have Baron buff now for about 2 minutes. Infernal will be spawning again in 3.5. That's another opportunity for Machi to maybe try and get a soul, but it really feels like Talon have to be the ones that make the misplay, because Hanabi, once again, has been able to find flank after flank and getting on top of Mission, getting on top of Bruce, and bursting them down before they can do anything during a fight.
And Machi is also trying their best to just put a lot of vision over that area. Unfortunately, they were a little bit excited on that middle lane engage and were cut off again in their pathing and just wanting to move back towards their own jungle. And in the meantime, for Talon, we'll be satisfied just trying to take down objectives, and we'll see how Machi decides to defend this one.
Well, the hold here from Machi. We'll see if they wish to try and go for a fight during one of these choke points. That was the issue we saw with Talon in the last game when they fell behind like this, is they gave up too many of their towers and too many of their inhibitors that by the time they went for a fight, they already were having to deal with the double super minions pushing into their base. Now comes the crash here from Talon. Bruce wants to try and step up, but can't go too far forward. Gemini gets a bit of chunk health taken away. Tower's already going down. There's still not been a decision made by Machi to actually try and go for this fight. And it's going to be Talon able to take down the first inhibitor.
And for Talon, they will whittle your base slowly but surely. So from Machi, if they want to pull the trigger now, it could be in this mid-fight. Everyone's ult is available. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the decision, considering if they're going to wait for cooldowns to expire. I'm actually absolutely scared for Machi right now. Good thing they do have wave clear in the form of Mission, but Baron buff is still online.
Machi goes in for the engage on top of the multiple members of Talon. A decent amount of damage. Mission able to get back to safety. Hanabi has yet been able to get into the fight, but there it is! A massive Hemo Plague into the bullet time is able to knock down the Ornn. And unfortunately, nothing that can be done there for Machi. It's going to be only the one member taken here by Talon.
And you saw, that was the chance. That was the go signal for Machi to at least try and defend their tower. Unfortunately, unable to at least find one pick to return a kill. And they're now going to lose their tower and inhibitor as well.
Here we go. Fate's Call is going to be used, though, by Bruce. Wanted to try and go for a play, but unfortunately not able to find it. Hanabi teleports in from the base. Machi still pressing forward. Mission able to get a decent amount of damage. They're at least trying to make the hold, unlike what we saw from Talon in Game 3. They are able to prevent a second inhibitor from falling.
And, you know, Machi already opted for that double Solari, one for PK and one for Koala. Unfortunately, I don't think it... I mean, it has managed to stall the onslaught of Talon, at least, not able to find more kills in just one. But yeah, unable to get that return kill as well. Stopwatch already available for Bruce, at least. That will provide a little bit of safety. And just as you mentioned, a couple of upgrades here and there will help. But to what extent, considering Hanabi and as well as Candy are far ahead?
There we go. We see now Infernal Drake spawning in 10 seconds. Machi have been able to find themselves a bit of an opening here. Have a position, but that does mean mid lane can get pushed in here by Hanabi if he wishes to. No teleport available on the side of Talon going for the flank. Machi able to burn down the dragon immediately, and that is Infernal Soul secured. Koala is going to be the sacrificial land. In comes Called Forge God, though, coming out from PK. Talon still multiple members strong. They're going to go back on over toward Candy. Bruce gets absolutely chunked down, and Hanabi finds again the Hemo Plague onto Mission, and that's going to be a triple kill for Unified. And Talon, they may as well have a theme song at this point. Play the Silver Scrapes as we look forward to a Game 5.
Talon is just wild. It seems to me their ritual when it comes to the BO5 is lose so devastatingly at the first game, and then we will immediately surprise you with the win.
And there you go. Talon able to make the charge happen. Game 5. One more game to decide who's going to go advance onto our grand finals as they're able to take it the distance.
And just another day at work for Talon. I mean, at this point, all of the games that we had aren't exactly close. You can clearly see who's going to win later with that early game lead, but it worked. Candy was able to really just soar high with this LeBlanc pick, and you pair that up with Hanabi, also not a lot of threats from Gemini at top side, so was able to freely farm, and you pair that up with Unified and the Bullet Time and the Hemo Plague, so it just felt disaster. And as you can see, you know, Machi tried their best to counter all the burst magic damage by, you know, 2 Solaris, 2 Moss. That was a lot of magic defense I've ever seen in one game, and it still unfortunately did not work.
I'll give it to them. They tried their hardest to try and make that happen, but unfortunately they're on the side of Machi. Even with the Infernal Soul secured, it just wasn't enough. So for Talon now, going 10 games now in both the series, over the course of the 2 series. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the final team fight.
Oh, this is the desperate play that Machi really, really wanted to do. But as you can see, Bruce is in no condition to fight. Had been golden to try to deny that ult from River, but Hanabi is just nonchalantly killing players here and there.
So with that, we have ourselves now set up the stage for this Game 5. As Talon are able to just bring it back here off the heels of both Candy, Hanabi, and Unified. All 3 carries running on all cylinders. And for Machi, it seems the distance might be what's killing them.
Yeah, and I suppose it has some sort of impact as well of losing their 16-win streak, and as well as not able to allow the early game to go in their favor, and also the pressure coming from River is also something that they should really be wary of, and that is a Rek'Sai. That is a Rek'Sai. And now they actually got the Callista pick as well. They actually wanted to get that on their side. Unfortunately, it did not work well, and you know, Mission wasn't able to soar in towards this mid lane.
Yeah, and now I got a question, you know, who are we feeling for our MVP? I almost got to say, I feel like Hanabi was an absolute monster with his flanks, and he is going to go ahead and get the MVP.
Very, very wild. I mean, I think the best part about, you know, Talon's roster in general, Hanabi can go on utility duty, perhaps maybe on Bjorn, but sometimes he has his really, really interesting surprise picks, like the Quinn last time, and now he's on the Vladimir. So I'm absolutely delighted to see picks here on the playoffs, and you can tell how confident Talon is right now, setting this game again to a game number 5. Talon is just This sort of team.
No, they are. It takes a lot to kill this team. Apparently, that seems to be the common trend we have been seeing over the course of this series so far, and in both best of fives that we have seen from the squad. So again, it's congratulations over to Talon. Whether or not though they are able to continue this is the big question. Will they be able to find the this magical final game in the series, or can Machi somehow close it out? We're going to a game 5. You know what's coming on the break. We're going to play the Silver Scrapes, and we'll see you in a quick sec.